Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Little Steakhouse for today's lunch with Coach Monty Coleman, broadcasted live on 89.7 KUAP. If you have any questions for Coach Coleman or the players, you can give us a call at 870-575-UAPB or 870-575-8272, or you can hit us up on Twitter at UAPB Lions Roar. This past Thursday, the Golden Lions traveled to Montgomery, Alabama to take on Alabama State at the new ASU Stadium, broadcasted live on ESPNU. UAPB quarterback Ben Anderson passed for 183 yards and rushed for 80 yards to finish the contest with 263 yards of total offense, as Alabama State defeated UAPB 42-7. This week, UAPB will welcome Jackson State to Golden Lions Stadium. This will be the 36th meeting between JSU and UAPB, with the Tigers leading the series 21-13-1. Both teams come into this week's contest 2-2 and 0-1 in conference play. At this time, we ask the players to introduce themselves to the audience.
Hello, my name is Mikael Carter.
Hello, I'm Michael Wilson.
All right, at this time, we ask the players to give opening statements about last week's contest against Alabama State and talk a little bit about playing Jackson State this weekend. Mr. Carter?
I felt last game we had a lot of miscommunication issues. I feel like coming into Jackson State, we're going to be more prepared and ready to fight.
Mr. Wilson?
To really hit off what he said, yeah, we just had a lot of, miscommunication, and a lot of players, really just, I think they was kind of nervous, but coming into this game, we're gonna have to, get over that little hump and try to take Jackson State down.
All right, at this time, we're hearing from the top dog himself, head coach Monty Coleman.
Thank you, sir. I want to once again welcome everybody here to our press conference this week. I want to thank Tony and the Little Steakhouse for having us. Very disappointing last week, the Thursday night game against Alabama State. Game that I thought we fared coming into very evenly. They did a lot of good things. They got a great running back named Cyrus. He performed very well against us, and we knew of his abilities going into that football game. But I felt like we had a great opportunity to win that game prior to it. The biggest ticker is they made plays and we didn't. I don't think they're 42 points better than we are. It's just that when they had opportunities to make plays, they made plays. If you look at the stats, our stats is relatively even in a lot of categories. So it's just a matter of making plays, and that's what they did and we didn't do. We're excited about this week. We're excited about returning to Golden Lions Stadium. We're excited about playing our second SWAC team against Jackson State. They've got a new head coach, Mr. Harold Jackson. He's got those guys playing hard. They're coming off a very, very bitter defeat against Grambling last weekend. So I know that they're going to come ready to play and trying to get back on their winning edges. And it's the same thing for us. We feel bad about the loss against Alabama State, but we feel also that we're equally to Jackson State. And because we're at home and all of our fans are going to be there, it's going to be a hostile crowd. That gives us a slight advantage. So I'm excited about this week, excited about our team. We started preparation on Jackson State yesterday, and we'll continue this week with the game leading up to Saturday.
All right, at this time, we open up for Q&A. We ask that you raise your hand and be recognized. All right, Mr. Morrell.
Hey guys, I see Morrell, Pine Bluff Commercial. Both of you guys talked about miscommunication on the offensive side of the ball. How much did that have to do with this? You guys have only played 3 games in the new offensive system. How much does it have to do with maybe confidence or lack of confidence or knowledge as far as assignments are concerned in the offensive scheme? I'll start with you, Michael.
I don't think it's a lack of confidence. I really just think like a lot of players are still trying to, find their role into this new offense. coming from last year, people are still kind of in that mind frame. So right now we just gotta study the plays harder, get the incorrections out and try to correct them, and hopefully we can get the clicking on all cylinders.
You seem to be doing a lot better for yourself, though, as a single back guy. You're a fullback, but you play in a lot of one back sets right there. Just tell me, how's that been going for you, and what adjustments have you made to become more explosive out of the one back set?
Oh, I mean, it's going exceptionally well. I just work out. I go to practice. I work hard. And whatever I'm blessed with, I go out there and play my role, whether it's blocking, running, or whatever. I just try to do it to the best of my ability or whatever it is. But overall, I'm satisfied with the way I'm being used.
Yeah. Mikael, I know one thing Coach Jones likes to do is, he likes for guys to have fun on offense. And, to have fun on offense, you got to have a little bit of success. But coming off a disappointing loss like this to Alabama State, what are some of the things that Coach Jones has stressed with you to try to make things better on the offensive end and to make this offense fun?
Most of all, he expresses effort. So he makes sure we going hard. Like running to the ball, even like offensive line, we got to cover downfield if we make deep passes. Just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. Like even the receivers, running backs, like running to the end zone at the end of every play, making sure we get used to getting in the end zone.
Right. Coach, there's a long history between UAPB and Jackson State. Of course, the last 3 meetings have just come down to the fourth quarter, if not overtime. Do you feel like this is a game where, and we're talking about offense here, is this a game where obviously you have to score more points in Jackson State to win the ball game, but how many points do you think you're really going to have to score against a team that scores a lot like Jackson State?
Just one more.
Yeah.
That's all I need is one.
Right.
I'm not really hung up on if we put a lot of numbers up. As long as we've got one point more than they do, that's all that really matters for me, I see. Jackson State's a very good ball club. They're coached well. Coach Kamaji, of course, have left. He's driven these guys the last few years. They've gone to the championship game the last 2 years. Unfortunate for him, he's not there with them. Coach Jackson is there with them. He's doing a marvelous job with this team. But I think we match up with them. And I say that honestly, if we can just score 1 point more, that's all that really matters. I want to come out of this game with a victory.
Yeah, and 2 more questions for you, Coach, and it'll be it for me. Number one, what tweaks to the offense are you trying to put, especially going into a game like Jackson State? And then secondly, Jackson State's quarterback, he threw for 400 yards against Grambling. He's a either redshirt freshman or sophomore, but he's playing big right now. What's the key to stopping him?
The key is playing our defense, and that's what we've got to do across the board. Some of the woes that we had against Alabama State was a lack of communication, not because they hadn't been taught. It was just that in the heat of the battle, guys trying to take it upon themselves and do a little too much. And that's the main thing that I saw, and that's the main thing that I've been telling the team. We can't do too much. I want you to do your job and then help our teammates. Going into this game against Jackson State, the thing that we've got to do is that we've got to take care of our job in the secondary and as linebackers to make sure that when we make a specific call, they've got to carry it out to the fullest in order to be successful against them. The young man is throwing the ball well. They're throwing the ball over 75% of the time. They're somewhat one-dimensional at this point. It's not because they've been behind. It's just that in the 3 games or the 4 games that we've watched, they're throwing the football. And I credit that to Coach Jackson, and I'm sure that's where they're going to come here with a different formation that maybe we hadn't seen and try to spread the football around. So the thing that we've got to do defensively is be disciplined and just play the defense that's called.
What about any tweaks on offense?
On the offense, you may see some different ball players playing. I won't let the cat out of the bag right now, but Coach Jones has a very unique offense. It's totally different than what Coach Dooley had. It's more of a pro-style offense. And the thing that we're not in a panic mode. If we go back and look at our schedule from last year, not last year, but 2012, we played Langston at War Memorial. We won that ball game. We went to Tennessee State. We lost that ball game. Then we came back with Alabama A&M at home, and we lost that game. So theoretically, we were 0-1 in the SWAC in 2012. It's no different right now. So we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're not raising the white flag. By no means are we surrendering because we lost one ball game. It is one ball game. We wanted to win the game. We tried to win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't win the game. But it's not the end of the season. We've got a lot of football left, and I can assure you that we will win more football games.
All right, Mr. Stubbs.
Tim Stubbs, UAPB TV Sports, KUAP 89.7 FM Sports. Coach, I know it was a little frustrating last week, especially you being a defensive guy for many years. Talk a little bit about missed tackling. I know your guys were in position to make some plays, and the game could have been a little bit different. Talk about that a little bit, and how do you go about coaching something like that? But I know when you rewatched the game film and broke it down, your guys were in position to make some plays, and for whatever reason they were breaking through some tackles and things of that nature. And how do you go about that? And I'm sure it's frustrating for you to see that.
It's very frustrating, not just for me, for the defensive staff and the team, because we pride ourselves on being a tough, hard-nosed defense. Now, there's two things that come to mind to answer your question, Brother Tim. The first thing is angles. The angle of your approach on a tackle can either give you a tackle or miss tackle. Some of our angles in this particular ball game was not very good, so consequently what we did was we had a missed tackle. The other part of that factor is just a want to. You know, by any means necessary, I'm going to get this guy down. I'm going to make this tackle because that is something that we practice on every practice. We practice tackling. And the thing that we've got to do is it's got to be a want to. And, we go back and we self-evaluate ourselves. We had some days off, and we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're going to put some guys on the field that we think maybe can tackle a little bit better in certain situations, and we'll take some off in certain situations. So the same way with the offense, we'll shake it up a little bit, trying to find that right chemistry. Because we have a very good football team. I've said that from the very beginning, and I'll continue to say that. Now it's just a matter of getting that right chemistry together that we can hit on all cylinders.
I know football can be such a teaching tool and the game of life as well.
Absolutely.
How do you get your team to rally? I know it's extremely early in the season. You mentioned not panic mode, and don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and things of that nature. How do you rally your team? It's just one game into the conference season, but a huge game coming up against Jackson State. Still so much to play for. Just talk about that a little bit and how you keep the morale up and encouraging the team and get them focused and ready to play.
We had our team meeting yesterday, and basically in the team meeting what I discussed with them was what I just shared with you guys. It's one football game. I also took us back down memory lane to 2012. In that year we was HBCU national champs and also won the SWAC for the first time since 1963, I think it was, an outright championship. The thing that I told them is it's one game, that we can't get so down on ourselves. And we've got some guys, this past loss hurt tremendously. But it's one game. We're in the exact same spot right now from a schedule from a stat standpoint that we were then in 2012. Can lightning strike twice? Absolutely. So all we've got to do is stay motivated, continue to practice hard, and that's where it's going to start at. In order to win a football game, it don't start on Saturday. It actually starts today when we start our hard day today. And if we can practice well, and then we'll be able to perform well. And my thing is, practice should be a lot harder than the game. And the way you do that is you practice hard. So my motivation to them is to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do in the weight room, on the practice field, in the classrooms, and other places, because this season has a lot of football left, and we're no ways out of contention.
You think the team is going to respond
absolutely.
To that this week?
Yeah, I think they will.
I know one game at a time mentality,
That-
chip away, until the wall is broken down.
That's right.
Offensively, moving the ball more consistently, but finishing off drives. Talk about that a little bit, putting points on the board and getting rewarded for your effort. I know when it gets down into the red zone, having a hard time putting points on the board, and you guys are so close on the cusp of breaking through and having more continuity.
You know, we did a press conference after the game there at Arkansas, at Alabama State, and Ben was on stage with me, and I made a comment, which I'll make to you guys in his absence. You know, I love Ben Anderson. Ben Anderson's been very, very good for this football program. Right now, he's preseason the Offensive Player of the Year pick for the entire SWAC. But this last game, Ben had a horrible time throwing the football. Probably one of the worst games I've seen him throwing the football. But that doesn't change my feelings for him. He's our quarterback, and I'm not going to bench Ben because of a one-game effort, which he was trying. Now, because of his inability to throw on on Thursday for whatever reason, there were guys that were open. Balls sailed on him, and those balls would have kept drives alive if he had just been a little sharper like he has been in the past. It would have kept drives alive and possibly even gone down to score. So, you know, there's a lot of factors that go in it. Maybe the receiver didn't run the right route and Ben had to hesitate or throw the ball off rhythm. There's a lot of factors that goes into it. But the thing that I'm confident in, Ben being the professional that he is, the receivers being the professionals that they are, that we will rebound, we'll learn from this game. We'll learn from the Alabama State game, and we'll come back and we'll be a better offense, we'll be a better defense, and we'll be a better special teams.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Behind you, Tim.
Bubba Pettigrew, fan of UAPB fan and sideline coach. Coach, to follow up on Tim Stubbs, Ben Anderson, all of his playing career has quarterbacked the spread offense. This is the first time he's been exposed to the pro style offense. How much did that affect, you think, his performance Thursday night?
I don't think that has anything to do with it, Bubba. Ben is a professional. He's very smart. He knows football, has very good football savvy and sense. Now, the thing that we've got to take in consideration with Ben is a redshirt senior. He's been under 3 offensive coordinators. This is his 3rd offensive coordinator. He picked it up. He was able to come in during the summer and work out and learn the system. So it's not a matter of him knowing the system or this being a pro-style offense that it changes things. He's a professional. He just had a bad game. We've all, on all levels, had bad games before. And the ones that say that they haven't, I don't believe them.
Hey, can I follow up?
Yes, sir.
Coach, I thought that in 2012, when we won the SWAC championship, that pound for pound, we had the best athletes in the SWAC. With the athletes that come back from 2012, I feel the same way again. Now, we don't have a Teron Armstead, but we got a Mikael Carter right there. That I feel like is professional material, along with some of the other athletes. Would you speak on the talent level of this year as compared to 2012?
Well, back in 12, we had scouts from the NFL coming in on a daily basis, 2 and 3 at a time. And they were coming to see Teron Armstead, who was drafted by the Saints in the 3rd round after this 2012 season. This year, we've had scouts in 2 and 3 at a time. We had the Cardinals in yesterday. We have them coming in on Sundays, and they're particularly coming to see Mr. Mikael Carter. So we've got the athletes on this team, pretty much no different. We were a little special in 12 in a good way, but this team is very special also. And but the thing that we had then, we had 22 seniors. Right now, I've got 7. So we're a very young football team also right now. We've got some guys that's playing that's never played college football before, but they're good enough to play. We do have some good mixtures of junior college guys, but that team in 12 is a lot more veteran than this team right here. So it's going to take some growing pains with it, but we are a very good football team, Mr. Bubba, and we do have scouts coming in on a daily basis pretty much to see Mr. Carter, to see Mr. Anderson, Mr. Ferguson, our wide receiver, and our kicker, Tyler Strickland.
All right. Are there any more questions for Coach or the players? All right. Once again, we thank you for coming out and having lunch with us. Just a reminder, our Lady Lions volleyball team will be in action this evening as they will take on Southern University in Baton Rouge in a 6 p.m. start. The match will be streamed live at gojaguars.com. All right, let's give Mr. Tony Dowell a round of applause for letting us come out to the Little Steakhouse today. All right, we look forward to seeing you at Golden Lion Stadium this Saturday. And once again, thank you for coming out and have a wonderful Golden Lion Day.